So you want to talk about Bitcoin. We'll get back to futures. That's more important. So this was in our top Bitcoin plays that we talked about, I don't know, weeks ago. I guess in here maybe. And I wanted to revisit this because Bitcoin is at all-time highs right now. And I really think that it's going to come down pretty soon. So we need to start preparing ourselves for these buying opportunities. Right now is super extended, super up there. I would not touch any Bitcoin tickers right now, especially with how futures are. However, this thing is special, and I'm going to show you why. I like this better than almost any Bitcoin ticker out there, not for longs, but just for some aggressive swings or day trades. So the reason for that is this right here. It has a 5 million float. If you look at Riot blockchain, they have a 50 million float. Marathon about 50 million. So it takes a lot to get this thing to move, or it takes a lot to get them to move. So this is what I mean when I say, it moves aggressively because it's a low float. So notice here they both got to around the same high. Got to about 27. Riot ran to about 30, 29. But when it kind of corrected, when Bitcoin cooled off, it got as low as $17. This thing went to 8. So if you bought right at the bottom, it would have been 16. So 84 divided by 16. So that's a 5x run. But if you would have bought NCTY, well, I don't even need to do the math. It's from 8 to 88. That's an 11x move. So yeah, I like them better just because of that. So because it's a low float stock, as soon as the volume starts rolling in and we approach 5 million, about 3.5 million shares were traded, and it was able to move from 64 to a high of 88. So that's pretty extraordinary. That is a $24 move in a single day. I mean, that's pretty wild. And so that's why understanding floats is really important, man. You can make or lose a ton of money on them. You just got to know how to play them. So what goes up must come down. You get a lot of sell pressure, and this thing drops like a rock quick. So Bitcoin is super up there right now. Hard to say if this thing has legs to get to 60K. At this point, I feel like it does. Certainly looks like it wants 60K. God, man. Yeah, like we're pushing all-time highs right now. So a lot of opportunity here still. We saw what happened when Tesla announced that they were getting into Bitcoin. There was another company, their name's eluding me, but they did the same thing, or at least just offered crypto payment. And so in my eyes, it's just a matter of time. Other businesses are going to follow suit. Maybe they're not going to put millions or billions of dollars of their balance sheet into crypto, but they can very easily offer crypto as a payment method. And then offering crypto as a payment method opens a lot of doors. It'd be really hard to convince a board that, hey, we're going to put this many million or however much money into crypto, but it's a lot easier to say, hey, we want to offer crypto as a payment. So you have to set up the infrastructure, go through all the legalities and formalities, but offering that sort of exchange is just like anything else. It's an exchange. So there's an exchange rate, add a couple of cents onto the transaction, a couple of dollars onto the transaction, and now you've made money essentially by offering another payment method. I mean, in my eyes, it's a no-brainer, and Tesla's opened Pandora's box. I don't think it stops here. I think this isn't sustainable, and this is going to come down and consolidate somewhere. I would love for it to catch down here in the 42, 45 range, 46, but I don't know. It actually might catch a little bit above that now that we got the next leg. So anyways, I will be watching these very closely. I plan on going in with a lot of size next time crypto kind of cools off a bit. So make sure you're hitting the thing and doing the stuff. Follow me on the stuff and things, in the Discord, because I'll be pounding the table when I get in. Now, I kind of clickbaited you here because we really need to talk about this. Futures aren't looking good right now, man. If we look at the daily chart for SPY, the divergence on the MAC is closed. It's actually touching, and it looks like it's going to cross over. We got a little bit of wicking right there in that candle. That's good. It's not an actual hammer down where it filled completely down and it has a wick at the top. That would be a little bit more worrisome, but it's still not a very good technical setup we got right here. You see as we approach highs, the ask is just dropping. The volume is just falling off. And we have these 4 candles that are approaching and even crossing the threshold a little bit on the bid side, and it's been sending us down. So anyways, let's look at the volume. So these 4 candles right here, I'm really not liking. They're touching and crossing the threshold a little bit. Tomorrow we really need a green candle. That's very important. We've had some minor hiccups like this when we've got 4 red candles, but anytime we've got 5 or more red candles, it's been part of a bigger sell-off. So you see here in September, when we had the big pullback, we don't have as many red candles in line, but they're just blowing the doors off the threshold. They're like doubling the threshold, doubling the average. So, to me, that's essentially like having probably 5 of these, because they're not crossing the threshold. But I mean, if you were to add up the volume alone there, it's going to be a similar range. And it didn't help that was followed by, a little bit of buying and a lot more sell pressure. But going back to the MAC, anytime it crosses, it's not necessarily a good thing. I mean, when it crosses and it starts to diverge more, it's signaling a little bit of a pullback there. Like notice here, it touches, but when it crosses, there's a lot of separation action going on. There's a big divergence on the MAC to the downside. This was actually, the head of the head and shoulders coming out of that correction that we had in September. But, what's just important to note is the volume on the bid side then as compared to now. You see the ask side, the volume's descending, followed by a lot of sell pressure, a lot of bidding. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to be trimming and taking profits on a lot of my winners. Making sure my stops are set on anything I'm worried about. And really kind of switching it up again and going back into day trade, quick swings, risk management mode, because I don't really like where we're at right now. Are we going to have some more September action? Meh, I don't know. I don't think so necessarily. But I do think we could break out of this descending triangle to the downside and test the 38 or something like that. So be very careful this week. Not loving it. Assuming that this doesn't happen, I love Sun W. I love these energy plays. I mean, we are just absolutely beat down right now. And it's not because there's anything wrong. Look at all these energy plays. All the charts look really similar. They're down, what is that, 50%? F-Cell is, went down almost 50% before it bounced. Sol's down 50%. Sun W's down 50%. I mean, all of these energy plays have been hit pretty hard recently. I mean, and you can see that like on ICLN on the BlackRock Clean Energy Index. So anyways, that is it for this video, boys. Be very careful this week. I hope I'm wrong, and it wouldn't be the first time either, but I do not like what's going on. So hit the thing, do the stuff, follow me on the stuff and things, join the Discord. I'll catch you in the next one.